Alright, so what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Ranger Flynn. Welcome everyone to Shokugeki no Soma, the third play, episode 20, or season 4, episode 8. For today's episode, we get, I guess, the starting match. We get the full approval of this team, Shokugeki, and kind of a lot of character developments, mostly from Aladini and Erina. Definitely Erina in this episode, but I guess I'll talk about the starting and about Aladini's character before we get to Erina, because a lot of this episode did focus on Erina and her character development, that she did a really big thing in this episode of her actually changed as a character. In this episode, she has changed, but either way, let's focus on the start. The start of today's episode, we all know that this team Shokugeki is going down. Saiba, kind of agreed or put into terms of Izumi, or kind of shared that, he'll close down his shop and also become an ally of Central. As we know from, Erina's father, or just Izumi, that he is obsessed with Saiba, which we don't really know why, or I probably just forget of why he has an obsession with them, because, he went down the road of Izumi thought it was a bad way of being a chef. A chef should be, what Central is going right now. So he puts out all the plans to the Elite 10 that they are going to crush the rebels, because instead of, I guess rigging every stage of, these exams, they're going to figure out in just one big match right here. So we have all, the Central or all the Elite 10 agreeing to it that they want to take him down, especially the one that Yukria beat at the, the start of the third play of the Elite 10, which he wants his so-called revenge, which is also kind of comedy moments as well. So the Elite 10 are part of it. It's all going down. This kind of episode was an agreement, which was at the ending of this episode. But I want to talk about Aladini's character, because Aladini's character, I thought it's kind of a long time since we actually got character development from him. In this episode, I like, because Aladini is one of my favorite characters, Shokugeki no Soma. So I'm kind of glad we had this little, character development from him, because, in this episode, what he wants for, the cooking of Team Dojima versus Team Sayaba, it's kind of the students learning to more and be better cooks. And we get a little bit of background from Aladini, because it's not just this cook battle. He wants it more as a Shokugeki match to Soma. His rival this whole entire time, since we met Soma's character, since we met Aladini's character, that Aladini always wanted to be Soma, because Soma is on top of him right now as a chef, and he wanted to even verse him during the autumn finals, but he got beat by Subaru, and he went to this other place so he could become a better chef and be ahead of Soma. So that was a really big, change into his character, that he has a really passionate for cooking, and no matter what, during the circumstances, he wants to beat Soma. Like, even though they are a team and they want to get their friends back from Central, this is still a challenge to Soma, that, Aladini wants to be a better cook than him. So that's a really big, change, which, that is his character, but it's good to see, I guess, more passion for him in this episode, because, I'm glad that, like I said before, we're getting a lot of his character, in this series, I guess this part of Food Wars, so I'm glad about that. And with Megumi as well, which I want to talk to her, about her character, which we didn't really get her character development. It was really last episode, but I didn't talk about it. Was, it was her first time, I guess, versing against Soma and Erina as well. Like, this is her time, since the beginning of Food Wars. We know her character of, she almost failed. She almost got, expelled from Tutsuki because of her grades. But since Soma, came into her life and helped her, as a cook and made her grow, she's finally her independent person. Like, this is her going up against 3 incredible chefs, and she could stand beside it. She could actually cook and even defeat them, and that's how grown and how much character development she has got. So it's really cool from hers as well. But the one thing I want to talk about, most, because this actually was today's episode, was the change of Erina's character. Just like all before, Erina's character was one, she is the god 10. She really mostly, cared about herself and didn't really thought of cooking as fun. She did back in the day, but since, Izumi and, her controlling her, making from her father, like, just to kind of be her own person and kind of forced to taste other food, this is the first time that she actually had fun cooking, since and Soma are making, different kinds of food, because, in this recipe, it's not just following the ingredients, it's not just following orders. If you have fun and change the recipes all around, you can make a good dish. And that's what she, kind of uncovered in this episode, because she's always been, following orders or following the ingredients of food, her whole entire life. But this is finally, a snap to her brain that, she could change something and actually have fun with it. And it just clicked in her head that, Saiba and, Soma, finally changed that for her. She finally knows the way of having fun with cooking. And we see that, in the cook-off right here of Team Dojima versus Team Saiba. And the cook-off, came to a draw afterwards. Students had to judge their own cooking. The kind of purpose of, this kind of practice was teamwork and to learn each individual's cooking, which, in the Team Shokugeki, you can help each other when during a match versus somebody else. So, we see that, in this episode that, Soma and Erina pointed to Aladini and Megami's dish, while Megami and Aladini pointed to Soma and, Erina's dish. And especially from, the God Ton, her cooking, she thought Aladini and Megami's cooking was a lot better than hers. So it was a tie right there, and that just points out to Aladini's character, which, he didn't beat, Soma, even though this was a challenge for him, but it was a tie. So that was, I guess, a big character development right there for Aladini's character. But it shows to both of them that they are all in sync, that their teamwork is better just from, them making this certain type of dish, and that they have came a long way. But now we'll get to the ending of today's episode, which is Erina standing up to her father and her not being an Elite 10 member anymore, because, after this talk, since she is a member of the Elite 10, she is the number 10 spot, since the Elite 10 is part of Central, she had to go over to Central's side because, that is part of the agreement with Central that all the Elite 10 members had to be part of that. But the big change of her is this is the first time, ever, I guess, in her life, she actually stood up to her father, saying that she won't take a side, that she is no longer going to be part of a member of the Elite 10. She's going to be part of the Rebels. She's going to be her own individual person and have fun with cooking. So that was a big, I guess, point that you look at it for this episode, that it's really crazy that, at the start of, Food Wars, we see her as this person, only caring for herself, but now she cares about others, and, she's finally her own person. This is the biggest challenge that she ever had in her life, was standing up against her father, but now she's her own individual person. So that was really this episode of Food Wars. I really enjoyed it. I love, the character developments. I love that we have kind of the start or the agreement, and now I'm guessing, the further episodes we're going to go toward Food Wars is, I'm pretty sure they need to find more members. I'm pretty sure there is 6 or 7 members of the Elite 10, and there's only 4 members of the Rebels, so they need to find more people. And like I said in my last review, my guess is they're going to get the other 2 members that were part of the Elite 10 but not anymore. And even Subaru, I'm going to guess that as well. I totally forgot about his character. I saw him, I guess in today's episode of Aladini getting beat by him in Autumn Finals, which we haven't seen his character yet. Maybe he'll be, I guess, a character to be with the Rebels going up against the Elite 10. So yeah, it was a really enjoyable episode. I feel like with this, it does deserve an 8 out of 10. I highly recommend it. But if you guys enjoyed my review here today, make sure to leave a like, comment down below what your guys' favorite part of this episode was, and subscribe to the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. But either way, guys, we'll see you next week for another Shokugeki no Soma review. Much love, and as always, have yourselves a fantastic day.